Okay. Hello. Welcome to my second episode of my podcast. This is How You Heal. Thank you so much for listening. If you're coming back from the first episode, I'm so happy that you decided to stay. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome. So I think something that I'm gonna start doing is just talk about my life currently for a teeny tiny bit in the beginning, just so you guys can know what I'm up to in the current moment versus me talking about problems that have happened in the past. So right now, I guess, I'm really excited. I have some friends coming in from town. We're gonna go to a rave, so super exciting. Get to hang out with my friends and just have a girly weekend, and what is more fun than that? So, and it was honestly snowing this whole week, and that honestly killed my freaking mood. I was inside and literally going insane. I felt like I was in a psych ward. I also live by myself, so I literally felt like I was literally in prison. But thank God that's over. And without further ado, let's get right into this week's episode. Again, thank you so much for listening to last week's episode. If you did or if you didn't, that's totally fine. I am just so completely thankful and overwhelmed. Even right now, I'm trying so hard to find the right words to say, but I literally can't even describe it. How I feel. I just feel so joyful and a type of happiness that I have never felt before. And it's just so moving and so touching, and I'm so glad that you guys are honestly healing from this as much as I am, and to hear how relatable what I'm saying is. It means the world to me. So please tell me that if that's how you feel, because I really want to know and I appreciate it so much. So without further ado, I thought today's episode would be really good to talk about how to heal from social media. And I'm going to try and do this in less than an hour because, again, this topic is so broad that I feel like it could branch into literally days of conversation, because social media itself is so broad and there's a lot to be said when it comes to social media. But I think I'm just going to go through my experience and how I healed from it and why I needed to heal from it. And maybe a lot of you guys can probably relate. So, I am 21. Social media has been such a big part of my life, even growing up. It's just, but I think when I was younger, it wasn't really a way to kind of document my memories. It was more of just a social thing, because it is social media, getting to meet friends, getting to meet new friends, getting to connect with old ones. And, it was just the thing that everybody had. And I didn't really have social media. I was 13 when I first had social media. And, I had the big three: Snapchat, Instagram, and then Musical.ly was what it used to be called, and now it's TikTok. I hope I can't get copyrighted for saying these names. But I have always been a big social media person. Even from when I was little, it had to do a lot with my image and how I wanted to carry myself and hold myself. Because what I think I always knew from a young age is that, everyone always says whatever you put on online, it stays online. And I think that's 100% true. Even if you delete something, if you delete a post, someone out there somewhere has already seen it. Even if you post it for 5 minutes, whoever is following you, unless no one is following you and you don't follow anyone, they're going to see it. And although they might not just screenshot it or whatever, it's still documented in history. And so I think from a young age, my parents always told me that, and it was something that I was always conscious of. So I knew whatever I was putting onto social media, that was definitely something, it had to be important, and it couldn't be stupid, or I definitely had to think about what I posted. And as much as I tried to, I was so young. And even now, there's just some things that are better kept private, and some aspects of our life that are better kept private, that I think we all tend to forget about. And especially me too. Sometimes I post something and I'm like, why do I need to post that? What is it how is it benefiting me by posting this on social media for other people to see it? So when I first got social media, I was a teenager, and I don't even know how to describe that time of my life. I think it literally was just like click and post, click and post. And honestly, it was just so confusing because I felt myself trying to conform to people that I also saw on social media, because I didn't really know who I was or who I even wanted to be. I didn't even really have sure, I had some secure values, but I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grow up. I didn't know like what was really important to me in terms of friendships and things like that. And so I didn't really have a lot of core values besides what my parents instill in me and what I see on social media. So, to my surprise, 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 when I go on social media, all these Instagram girls that I would see, that's who I would want to be. Which everyone who is probably a girl at least once in their life has probably felt that type of need or type of want. And I think that is what instantly comes with social media. You're putting your life out there, and other people are putting their lives out there to almost like, I guess, ask for like unsolicited opinions and unsolicited comparison. Like, I find myself even now sometimes comparing myself to people I see on Instagram or YouTube, and quietly compare myself, even if it's not like in a bad way or a good way. Like, it's bound to happen. And that's why I think teenagers and young people having social media, young as in like 13, having social media is such a gray area to cross, because obviously when I was a teenager, I was having different thoughts than I am now. I was definitely posting about different stuff than I am now. I mean, now, like, I do kind of treat it as like a little digital diary versus like, oh, I want to post this so other people can see it. And again, that probably feeds into so many underlying issues like validation and like self image that I had to learn only from age, And I think part of having social media growing up did kind of teach me that. Like, when I think about like what type of image I wanted to have, and like when I think about like, oh, like I really like how this person portrays themselves online, So I think I would just take from that and then kind of build my personality that way, brick by brick. But that was mainly with Instagram. With Snapchat, it was a little different. I mean, I didn't get Snapchat till I was like 15, I think, because my parents just wouldn't let me. They were really strict. So I got Snapchat then, and I think Snapchat is just a whole nother realm and type of social media. It's almost like direct messaging, whereas Instagram, like, I feel like you don't really post on Snapchat. And like, people may disagree because you do have private stories, but like, think about it. Like, Instagram is mainly posting. Like Snapchat's main form is direct messaging people and chatting people, Instagram is like based off of posts and like likes and things like that, whereas Snapchat doesn't have that. So I think it's like a realm of its own. I think it's kind of unfair to kind of group them together. And I mean, you act differently on each one. I'm not going to post something on Snapchat that I would post on Instagram. And it's like they're different cities of their own. So Snapchat, I think, is just it's tricky. I didn't like Snapchat at all. Let me just say that. I didn't like Snapchat. I kind of only had it because everyone else had it. And it's a form of communication. Even now, like, when I think about using it, it's because I want to get in touch with certain friends that I don't have their phone numbers. And, when I was a teenager, I just got their Snapchat, not their phone number. So that's only the really main reason I would even think to use it now. But I actually ended up deleting it probably end of high school, like my senior year of high school, just because I didn't even see a purpose to it anymore. And I feel like when you really like strip off the idea of it being a messaging app and like replace that with like messaging on like your iPhone or like regular messages, I really think like the bones are so bare. It's like, why am I using this third party app to do things that I know that I can do without it? You know, like I know I can still message people without Snapchat, but why am I choosing to do it with it? And you know, part of social media is that it's fun. Like I love posting on Instagram. Like I love it. Like I like making little collages and I like taking fun pictures. Like I get that's part of the fun. But with Snapchat, like I just never really saw the fun. I mean, I guess I just didn't get the hype, I guess. Like even with like private stories and things like that, I just found it almost pointless and kind of like not toxic, but I guess toxic because on Snapchat it's almost like you have to tiptoe around certain aspects and it almost feels kind of sneakier. I don't even think that makes sense. Like by sneaky, I mean like on Instagram, like you kind of only have one profile and that's it. Whereas like Snapchat, you can have all these different private stories and you can like share different things on those private stories and you get to kind of pick who sees what. Not that you can't do that on Instagram, but it's like Instagram, it's like you can choose who sees your one and only profile versus like Snapchat, you get to choose all these little knickknacks and little aspects of your life that certain people can see. So it's just adding on more filters and filters and filters. And I think that's what pushes it so far away from social media because then you really get down to the nitty gritty of what you can actually post. And then at one point is like all of it just so curated to where it's not even authentic anymore, you know, where it's almost like, for example, something I used to do when I was in like my heyday in high school was I would make private stories with just one person on it and I would post something just for that one person. But did they know that? Probably not. But that's what I mean, whereas in like it's curated so much to where it's not even real. Like I'm literally only posting that so that one person will see it. Like I'm not posting it for any other way or any other reason versus Instagram. It's like, okay, do I really want all these people to see it? It's not like I can pick and choose like who's going to see it and who's not. And I think that's what makes Instagram so special too, is that it really is sharing your life. Where Snapchat, I kind of view it as very private. And then even when I had Snapchat, like versus Instagram, I didn't add people on Snapchat that I didn't personally know. Versus on Instagram, where like I would accept people that like I kind of knew or if I met once, but on Snapchat it's like I only put my close friends or people that I had met like a couple times or like were acquaintances with, because again, I felt like it was very private. It wasn't as similar to getting someone's number, but I mean, it was pretty damn close, and that's what we had back then. So, but ultimately, why I decided against Snapchat and why I decided not to use it anymore is that I just didn't see a purpose. Like, I really didn't. Like, at this point in my life, when I was like 18, and I didn't post on it because I'm more of an Instagram person. And again, I feel like it's based on personality. Like, if you like that more private, like secluded style, then I feel like Snapchat would be for you. But I think Instagram, even aesthetics wise, like I feel like whatever floats your boat, you know? So Snapchat just wasn't for me. Like I just felt like I was getting all I could already from Instagram, and then there was no need to fill my life with another platform of social media that I had to worry about, because let's face it, I mean, we all worry about social media as much as we don't want to. Like, it does take up space in our brain, and it does require thinking, even if it's like pointless thinking, like, oh, like when should I post this picture, or like should I post it on my story, or do I make an actual post, like those are all subconscious thoughts. And so to have so many of those subconscious thoughts for so many different platforms, like it's a lot. Like talk about like the stress mentally on even having social media. Like that could be even a whole other conversation, just because like, I mean, social media is most of the time what people describe as like draining. And I think that's so interesting is that even all these people that do social media for a living and like preach and praise about social media, still there's always downsides to it. And not like saying that there aren't downsides to everything in life, but I just think it's so interesting how something can be so fun and again social, but yet it's so draining. It's kind of like having a social battery. And when you're putting your social battery into all these different apps, like it can get drained, it can get tiring. So I think it's about finding that right balance for your life, and that's going to look different for everyone. So the other big three that I had was TikTok. I used to have TikTok for a long time. Like, I had it when it was Musical.ly, and then it switched over to TikTok. I still had it actually until, remember when TikTok got banned in the US? I don't know if you're listening from the US, but it did get banned in the US. And during that time, I vividly remember what happened. I was on vacation with one of my friends, and it got banned, and like we both were freaking out. I was freaking out because, like probably everyone else out in the world, I was addicted to TikTok and that idea of short form contact. And I'm actually going to come back to that point because I think it's really important. But I remember it getting banned, and I deleted it. I deleted it when I got banned because I was like, oh, like it's not coming back. Like, this is a sign. This is a sign that like I'm too addicted. I need to get off of this. So I deleted it. And that was when like you couldn't get TikTok back even if you deleted it. So I literally couldn't re-download it. And so I was like, crap, what do I do? So now I literally only had Instagram. I've never made like a Twitter or like other social medias, but I'm also talking from like a mainstream kind of standpoint. So like then at that point I had only had Instagram. So then I just started going on Instagram, and when it did get unbanned and I could re-download it again, I really thought about like, okay, is this something that I do want to bring back into my life? Because talking about TikTok as its own platform, I mean, that was like something that like the internet had never really seen before. Like Facebook, you couldn't really post like content like TikTok does now. I mean, it was all so like, now it's so like short form content, and like I think that was something, especially for people now in like my age range, like 20s to like even 30s. I mean, my mom like loves like not TikTok but like Facebook videos, whatever, because now they have like Facebook Reels, whatever. She loves it. And I mean, like, that says a lot. There's definitely a business there. And I mean, it's just so interesting how kind of fast that form of content kind of blew everything up into proportion. And it's interesting to think about, I think, like how TikTok affected so many other forms of social media and just short form content in general. Like, it bled into Instagram and I think Snapchat now, and even YouTube, like with YouTube Shorts. I mean, it really did just like open up this whole another level of social media and what to post online, because who knows what we could be posting next, or like how things could be posted in the future. So I think it's really interesting now to look back and kind of seeing the evolution of myself along with the social media that I use. And I think it says a lot about who you are and the people that we're friends with. And because honestly, I do think it says a lot about a person, like how they want their Instagram to look and how they want their social media to portray them, whether it's TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram. I mean, we all have these different profiles, but are they actually a good representation of us? And I think for me on social media, that was something that I really struggled with. And how can I make this the best representation of myself, but also one that I'm happy with? Because I necessarily didn't like myself all the time. I mean, there was a lot of moments in time where I really did feel like, oh my God, my Instagram doesn't reflect me as a person at all, whether it was like a good way or a bad way. And not that it's important and it's like a life-threatening issue, but I think that's what we often forget when we're just scrolling online. And even me, like my friends, I think, are very different than how they portray themselves online. I think I'm very different than how I portray myself online. Even though I try to be my most authentic self, it can be hard to portray that through a screen, and especially to people that don't know you. But I also think that is what makes social media so cool, is that it is, regardless of how you use it, it is a way of connection and how you connect with people. So I think having social media is, I don't know about important, because I know a lot of people actually that don't use any social media. There's definitely a way of life without it. And I am like so intrigued about that. And that's definitely, I want that to be the next step for me. I mean, I want to eventually live a life without any social media. Even though I only have Instagram right now, I want to get to the point where I don't have it and I can live without it. Because even when I deleted like Snapchat and TikTok, like it literally was like a weight off my shoulders. Like I instantly felt less pressure, even though I'm not this like social media person or influencer. Like it still brings so much pressure to the table, even for ordinary everyday people. And we don't know it. It still can be stressful, even if it's just your friends that are going to see it. So I think when I decided to permanently delete Snapchat and TikTok, even though now I do have TikTok for the podcast, so go follow on TikTok and actually follow on social media. I'm plugging the social media. This is how you heal on pretty much every platform: Instagram, TikTok, not Snapchat though. But yeah. Anyway, getting back on topic, sorry. I think that when I decided to finally permanently delete those platforms out of my life, I don't think I ever could have realized how healing it was and how actually helpful it was to me in my everyday life. Because then again, I don't think we realize like how much time like we actually like spend on social media. Like that is just so much time like wasted in doing what? Like granted, like don't stop listening to this podcast. I don't think music is a form of social media, although some people say it can be. But I mean, that is just so much time like put into perspective. Since I was 13, like someone can probably do the math. And even before then I was on YouTube, which I guess now is a form of social media because of how people can connect through comments and things like that and subscribers. Like to think about how much time is actually spent using these platforms, it's crazy. It's crazy. And when I really sit down and think about what can I be doing with this time instead of being on social media, I could think of like a 20 thing long list of like things I could be doing. But I'm not. And I think social media is just so not special, but like there's something about it that just draws us and keeps drawing us to it, almost like an addiction. And I wish I kind of knew what it stems from, because I think that's really interesting. Like, why are we so addicted, not necessarily to posting things, but just being on social media? Even not if it's like posting stuff, it's like even seeing what other people are posting, or like even thinking about social media, like thinking about what to post next, or thinking about where or what platform to use. Like it's a lot of time and a lot of labor and a lot of brain power. Yeah, so I think something to really consider, or what I considered, how when it comes to how I want to use social media and what it's actually good for and how it can fuel other aspects of your life instead of just constantly being on it every day and like kind of meaningless. Like it's almost meaningless, and like almost muscle memory. Like, I hate to say it, like just scrolling and scrolling, like even posting things, like it almost now doesn't hold any value, and I feel like it's supposed to. So I think that's really something that I think about now in my everyday life, or when I decided what social media to utilize, is how it can feed into my everyday life and what was important to me when it comes to like social media. Like, do I like messaging people? And is that more important to me? Or, and like how I want to portray myself, like what pictures to post, and like how much to post. So I think it really, we all have to do kind of a deep dive into how social media needs to portray us instead of like us being guided by social media. Because I think before, like I said, like I was just guided by what other people would post, and I think it's important for us to all guide ourselves and post what we want to post. And I know that's like so easier said than done. Like, I used to really struggle with that and get a lot of anxiety about what to post and how many likes everything got, and like who's gonna see this post, and like, oh, let me take it down, I didn't get that many likes. But I think that's just something that comes with reevaluating how important social media is. So what I did was that I actually like just redid my whole Instagram. I deleted everything. And as like scary as that sounded in the moment for me, like it helped me so much, because then it was just a blank slate. And I was at this new point in my life where I wanted to revamp my Instagram and I wanted it to actually be accurate. So, as scary as it sounds to delete everything and start all over, I genuinely think it helped me so much to kind of know what I wanted to post, because there's nothing for me to go off of or for me to go by. So that really helped me in kind of finding my algorithm and finding what I was okay with posting with and what made me happy and excited to post. So now, like, I love to travel, so that's something that I post about a lot, and mainly will be the only time that I do post, because it's just to hold memories. I mean, Instagram and social media and Facebook and all these things, at the end of the day, it's about the memories we make outside of social media. And having social media is kind of like a capsule, instead of it being like the main thing, like having it as like a sub part of the moments that we make in our actual day-to-day lives, and then social media just being the byproduct and what we choose to showcase those memories on, I think is much more important than creating memories just to post them on social media. And a lot of this makes a lot of sense thinking about it, and I know it's so much harder to actually do it. I mean, I literally didn't want to for so many years of my life, and it's so hard to get easily consumed by social media. So I think it's important, and it was really important for me to just kind of like, all I can think of is like, there's this movie called City Girls, City something girls, something girls, and like all I can think about is like Uptown Girls. In the movie Uptown Girls, there's this quote that the little girl says. I literally forgot her name. Ray, the main character Ray, says, and it's sloughing off. No, Molly says it. The main character Molly talks about sloughing off the excess to find her center. And I honestly think that applies to everything, even social media. We have all these social media platforms. What is excess that we can slough off to find our center? So that's the only way I can really think about it. To our core, and to my core at least, I think we all know that social media is bad, or we want to portray it as this like bad platform. It's bad for you, it's bad for your brain, which is not necessarily completely true. I mean, social media is also like a stimulant. I mean, it makes you happy, it makes me happy. Why is that a bad thing? You know, like, to post silly little pictures, I don't think that's a crime. I mean, I think it comes in moderation. and I think how we use social media to highlight ourselves, that's the real beauty. And I don't think there's a crime in that. I think we just put social media under this such a bad spotlight that like it's just like cursed and like riddens our brain. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. So I think as long as you apply the core values that you do in your everyday life to social media and other things like that, you really can't go wrong. And I think that's what a lot of people tend to lose on social media and tend to forget about, because we try to portray this other self versus who we actually are. But that is almost as interesting, and it gives you something to be proud of. I mean, before, like, when I would post on Instagram, I really was just posting to post, but it almost makes it more fun when you're like proud of what you post, because it makes you happy, because ultimately you don't even know how it's affecting other people. Yeah, for sure, you can see who's like watching your story and who's looking at what you post, but you like ultimately can't tell how it's going to make them feel. But you only know how you feel when you post something, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, I mean, any platform or social media. I think we need to make social media into a more personal thing again, or especially Instagram. Like, I think we needed to make it more personal and more connected to our actual selves, instead of it just being like this platform for everyone else. Because I feel like now I even view social media as like a platform to watch others, and it's not necessarily about me. But I think it needs to be. Like, it should be about both. I think it should be a good balance. And that was definitely something I had to learn. And it comes with time, a lot of time just spent thinking, because deleting social media, it's honestly like easier said than done. I mean, I don't think I would have ever deleted TikTok if I didn't think it was going to get banned. I think I would just have it for eternity. So I think it's not definitely something you do on a whim. It requires thought. Like when you post on social media, it's something you think about, and you need to think about, is this important to me? Is this fueling my life in a positive way? And if you can confidently say yes, or you can find a way that it does fuel your life in such a positive way, I mean, hello, why wouldn't you do that? And I think that's why I have such a healthy relationship with social media now, is because it takes a lot more energy to care about what you're posting and what other people are posting than it takes to not care. And I think we often reverse it. Like, we often think like we try to force ourselves to not care. But I really do think it comes naturally. Like, I really do think like you can't force yourself to not care for something, but you can force yourself to care, like a rectangle is in a square type of thing. But like, I think it just made the most sense for me. And that is a lot of things in life. Like, once it makes the most sense for you to have a certain something into your life up to a certain point, then that's fine. I mean, I don't think we should try to ever force social media onto ourselves just because it's social media and we're scared of losing that platform almost. But social media is like people. Like, we're all going to have different fits and what best fits us. Like, one social media is going to fit one person better than the other. And even now, I think about aspects of other platforms that I miss. Like, sometimes I forget that I follow these people on TikTok that I don't follow on Instagram, and I think about them and I kind of miss that aspect. But I mean, besides from that, like, social media is so much more, and there's so many underlying feelings connected to social media besides just clicking and posting. And I really think that that's something that we need to change about social media and how we view it. Because even now on my Instagram, like, I most of the time turn my comments off, and I turn my like comments off because like I would just rather not know. And I think that was kind of killing me smallly too, because I like there's so much caring involved, but I think the point of social media is to not care, like, and I think that would make it so much more fun. And even a lot of my friends that I know that feel the same way definitely agree. And it just takes everyone a little bit of time to get there, you know? But I mean, that's fine if you know in your heart what social media is doing for you. And we all know deep down like how it affects us in our everyday life. Then that is something to definitely consider when you're on social media. I don't think it should be like a fleeting thought, like, oh, like, I really don't like having this, but like, it's fine. Like, I really don't want to post this, but like, who cares? But you should care. Like, I really do think you should care. Like, that's so important. More important than people think it is. And again, it funnels into so many other things, like, right? Like your mental, how you even view yourself. I mean, Instagram and like social media, like, it really does have an effect on you. And I'm not talking about like getting hate or receiving hate comments, because I think honestly for the average person that's not normal. Like I don't think people really do that on a day-to-day basis to like normal people. So I don't think that applies here, but I mean, I think it affects our mood when we post certain things and when we don't post certain things, and when we see certain posts, it obviously affects how we feel. And I don't think that should be taken for granted. Like, that's definitely something I try to consider. Am I posting this? Am I going to be happy posting it? And not necessarily posting it just to get a reaction. So, and that's the beauty with having a private account, right? Like, I feel like it's definitely different when you open yourself up to a public view, like I'm doing right now. But I think that's why it's important to be strong in knowing yourself and knowing your beliefs and your values, because those things bleed into every aspect of our life, right? Even social media, me doing this podcast right now, you know, it's important to me. And not saying like, oh, social media can't be important to you. It can. It is. Like, if that's important to you. That's not a bad thing. But if it's important to you, you should treat it like something that is important. Like, put care and put time and effort into it. Don't just, kind of chug along just to chug along. Like, even with TikTok and Snapchat, like, if those things aren't filling up your life, like, even try it. Like, even try not having it. Like, I feel like if I never did try it and wasn't scared enough to try it, like, I would still have it. But little did I know, like, how actually much better it made my life to not have those things. And that's another thing, you never will really know until you try, or until you think about really how it affects your life. Because a lot of social media is just go, go, go. Like, okay, let's post this. Let's get this many likes. We're trying to get to this many followers, this many subscribers. But that's literally not even what it's about. Like, and it's interesting for me to think about, like, who started that, like, fad about, like, how many followers one person has. Because, like, that's so interesting on how that became important instead of what we're actually posting. But, I mean, that's my take on social media. Controversial or not, I mean, it helped me a lot. That's how I healed from social media. And I could say so, so, so much more. I mean, it's such a broad topic, such a deep topic. And it is important to me. And especially in this day and age, like, it is almost like it's going to be in our lives forever. I don't know what shape or form, obviously, in the future, but some type of social media will be. So it's kind of hard to even picture a life without it. And then I'm being honest, like, that's something I struggle with even now. Like, I want to live a life without it. And I know that I can. But then again, it's that fear. Like, or not fear, but it's just, I'm not ready, you know? I'm not ready. I like posting. And at one point in my life, I will get to a point where I don't, and I will outgrow it. And that will be that. But that doesn't mean I'm not, like, I shouldn't force myself to try and continue using it when I know it doesn't fill my life anymore. But that is how I healed from social media. Thank you again so much for listening. This episode was a little shorter just because I really want to be careful about what I say, especially about social media. I know it's a sensitive topic. A lot of people have different opinions. I would love to hear your opinions. If you want to share in the comments, share on Instagram, message me. I want to know. I think all the things I talk about are open for discussion. I'm not saying what I say goes like at all. Like, I'm definitely not qualified to give advice, but it is based on my real experience as someone who currently is living through it or has lived through it like not so long ago. So I'm always open for discussion. I want to know what you guys want to hear me talk about. This platform is really important to me, and I'm so happy that you were able to listen to me today. And if it helped you a little bit, I'm so glad. And I hope I was able to shed some light on a very broad topic. But yeah, I would love to bring this back up to discussion. And thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow on social media. This is How You Heal podcast, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And I will see you guys next week for next week's episode.